Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to take a look at Giblet, whichever way you want to call it, and take a look at essentially how well he does with his release on Dragon Ball Legends. So Giblet, or Giblet, however you want to say it again, is a free-to-play character that all players will have access to. You will get his 7 stars by completing essentially what amounts to some very easy, very easy main story event sections. And then after that, you can just buy some more additional Z power for him with your Z2 medals. So a super duper straightforward process actually. And I think overall he looks pretty good. The first dark character as well. So the first dark type character. Now remember, dark type has advantage against all typings in terms of offense, and is type neutral in terms of defense, and we'll talk about that a little bit just now. Giblet starts out as a red character but has 2 ways to turn into a dark type character. He has his main ability, and then he also has his passive, which will kick in if he falls below 50% health. And we'll talk a bit more about his details now. The team we're using him on is a triple Zenkai boost team, and yeah, let's dive into it. So firstly speaking, let's just cover Giblet a little bit in terms of his abilities. So he has Wild Cannon, which is a decent-ish special arts card. The big thing about it is sealing enemies' main abilities. This is the most useful aspect of it. He then also has his green card, which unlock key form of attack. He draws a card, he restores key, restores health, this is all good. A damage boost and shortens ally substitution counts. So this is a good green card. It's quick, it's simple, it's easy, it gives you everything you need. Allies can switch in faster, you have more key, you have more health, and you draw a card, which ultimately at the end of the day is quite helpful. His Z ability is Saiyan, Game Originals, or Red, and he gives a boost to characters that are that are game originals as well on top of that, so that's pretty good. And then he also has his main ability. This is where he turns into Dark for 30 timer counts, destroys all his own cards, randomly draws 4 more, restores his health, restores his key, gives him damage inflicted buff of 20%, and also restores his vanishing gauge. All very important stuff, basically allowing him to continue to accelerate once he's in dark mode. In terms of his uniques or passives, he has a 20% damage inflicted against Saiyans, which is quite helpful. Lots of Saiyans all the time, always in the meta. And plus 100% damage inflicted, 70% damage reduction, 70% key recovery, which is good. By the way, this is very crucial to his meta ability right now. And his increased arts card draw speed. So a lot of good stuff for Giblet. Depending on how many times he's been on the field, he'll reduce enemy's key, inflict the enemy with an attribute downgrade, or nullify enemy special action cover change if he's out 1, 2, or 3 times. And then if the enemy uses a strike or blast card while he's on the field, he restores his own vanishing gauge, restores his own key, and inflicts them with a health restoration buff debuff. His second passive reduces impact and slice damage, which is helpful, and then also, of course, when changing cover, he destroys an enemy card and inflicts him with card draw speed down, which is good. And then obviously when he faces an enemy, he gets a new card, restores his own key, increases the damage inflicted, and all pretty good stuff. Now, he can also kick into dark mode if he falls below 50% health. He will also restore his own health at that point, shorten his ally substitution count, and destroy all your enemy's cards. So Giblet, from that aspect, is really good. I will say Giblet feels like he can be a good damage dealer. I know this is obviously a team very catered towards boosting him, but Giblet is a great damage dealer, and what makes him so good is that type advantage against everyone. So we'll talk about him defensively just now, but the fact that he does good damage against every typing is really important. And it makes him really fun to use. There are situations where you'll just be facing a tag character, or a switch character, or an endurance character, or a type nullification character. None of that works against Giblet. So switching types doesn't matter to him. Switching colors doesn't matter to him. Switching tag team units doesn't matter. Activating type nullification doesn't matter, because Dark has elemental advantage against everything. So the characters can't switch to light, or can't switch to dark, I should say, to take type neutral. So all those abilities all take damage. It's a very crucial component of what makes Giblet so effective as a character. It's that ability to jump in and always do good damage. And he's catered towards that. He's not a very tanky unit. It's not bad, but he's definitely more of glass cannon / burst damage kind of character. Lots of ways to restore vanishing gauge, or at least some decent ones. And then you couple that with the fact that he also jumps in, wants to do damage and jump out. It's why he shortens his ally substitution counts. It's why he does a lot of these good things. So yeah, I think, in terms of playstyle, he's a jump in, jump out, kind of like roll with it character. I think that's really something to factor in. I think he's great. And, I think for me personally, honestly, he is a ton of fun. I think he's really cool. I think he's got some unique stuff about him. The darkness is obviously super duper important. Like as soon as you can. Basically, it's very important. And I think, ultimately, for me, he's really, really solid. Absolutely sorted. A unit that can definitely do good damage. Has a role, I think. Yes, obviously he will fall off. But I think he could always be a surprise, fun little selection if you're looking to just change things up. Obviously, being a Saiyan, he does have teams that he can vibe with. He's got Zenkai boosts that he can work with. So you should be able to make him work and make him work out to a certain degree. The big thing is, with him, equips. I'll be honest, he looks like he's lacking equips. Would love him to get, not right now, although you could, it would make him just really good. But I think, for me, like right now, honestly, I think if he got one more platinum equip, it would put him in a really good space. Like a really, really, really top-notch space. And I think, honestly, I would probably use him like quite competitively. I'd find ways to organize him in my teams. It is quite expensive to fully red star him. You don't have to. It does help, but you don't have to. But he is definitely a very good character.